Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nisa if you're new here. I'm gonna talk about a dream that I had a couple of days ago, and it's gonna be a good one. So grab yourself a cup of tea. I made a London fog. It's a little warm, not really hot anymore, but I made myself a London fog. So grab yourself a cup of tea or a snack, have this playing in the background if you just want to hear my thoughts on this, and let's get started. I'm also filming this on my birthday, so I thought it was a very appropriate day to talk about death. Oh, wow. This is my journal, by the way. If you see me like looking down, I'm just reading it. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, wow. I think we need to take a second because my God. Okay, so my dream. Oh geez, my dream. It was really nice outside. I was sitting in some grass between this bush behind a fence, and it was right next to my house, and it was so warm. The sun on my face, the orange hues illuminating around me. I fell asleep for a good while, and it must have been for much longer than I intended, because when I woke up it was very dark outside. So I got up, but I had this really intimidating headache. It hurt so bad to move. Everything felt so excruciating in my head, and my mouth hurt really bad. My lower jaw hurt really bad. I figured maybe I just slept in a weird position for a period of time while I was knocked out in the grass. So I get home and no one's home. I thought it was really strange that no one had come home yet. I was living with my partner, and I just thought, okay, maybe he's working late. I'm gonna go to sleep. So I go to sleep, and when I wake up, he's already up, and I say hi to him, but he doesn't say anything to me. He just kind of mumbles around the house. Like, he seems very hollow. It seemed like there was nothing to him. And I thought, well, maybe he just had a rough day at work and he just needs a little bit of time to process his day, so I will leave him be. And after having these occurrences, I realized, man, my head really hurts. I had this flashing image come into my head of me laying in the grass, and I thought, this has to be of some kind of significance. Something had to have happened, because my head is killing me. I'm in so much pain right now, and I don't know why. So I thought, this has to be of some significance. I need to go back there. I need to go back to where I was laying, because this is really intense. I walk out the house, and the closer I get to the area where I was laying down, the more intense and gruesome my headache feels. It is absolutely terrible. I just want to rip my head off. And then everything went silent, and white noise filled the air. As I was staring at this area I was laying down in the grass, and this area I was laying in, I saw myself. I could hear the birds chirping and the warmth of the sun once again on her face and mine. And I look up, and I see from the perspective of me laying in the grass looking up, and I see a guy at our neighboring house across from us pointing a gun in my direction. And then I left that body and went back into the body that was watching this happen, I saw him frantically run to me in a panic, had no idea what to do with himself, and couldn't believe what happened. It was an accident on his end. I don't think he was intentionally trying to shoot me, which was the feeling that I got from it, but it happened. And not knowing what to do, he grabbed some clothes and just covered my body and left. And in this moment, I was shot back into the apartment from that evening when I initially woke up from my nap. And Lou was mumbling, oh sorry, not that night, that next morning, as he was mumbling to himself, I went into his eye. I went into his eye view, and I saw what he saw, which was him discovering my lifeless body there under the clothes. So in this moment, I started experiencing the headaches again, and I realized I'm experiencing this because I am holding on to this life. I'm done, my time here is up, and it's time for me to go. So I bow down gracefully to the experiences I had in this life, and I give Lou a kiss. I closed my eyes and I released everything. And I found myself in this in-between world where it was almost like a neighborhood, and there were so many other souls there waiting for them to find a good couple to take on a new life. And in waiting there, I met someone that was also murdered, and we were just talking about how life after death continues on in another way, and it's just this endless cycle of you die, and then once your soul is released into the in-between state, you are waiting there so you can take on another body and experience a new life. And it's just this like cycle that happens. I think that was the end of my dream. Oh no, I decided to wait in the in-between so that I can figure out what lessons I gained and what I learned from my life that had just ended, and take that fully into the next life. It says here I found a friend. I found a friend in the in-between state, and I found a teacher in the in-between that was helping me figure out these things. So that's it. That was my dream. These kinds of dreams are nothing short of what I typically have. These dreams of dying, and I guess what a lot of people would consider gruesome or brutal, morbid kinds of dreams. But that's what I take. That's what happens to me whenever I'm dreaming. I wanted to briefly touch today on death and my thoughts about what happens after you die, which are exactly that, what happened in my dream. Growing up, I was raised in a very Christian household. So, I mean, because I moved around a lot when I was younger, so there was never really any true structure in, I guess, like a religious system that I grew up in. The most that I had was for, I think it was like 4 years of my childhood where I lived with my grandmother, who was very Christian, and obviously like raised me and my brother in that frame, in that mind frame. They raised us Christian. So growing up Christian, I was always taught that when you die, if you do good and you live by Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you will ascend into heaven. Now, when I was younger, I was not allowed to ask questions outside of that kind of belief system. There was one point where I asked someone that was taking care of me and my brother at the time, I asked, what if God is a girl? And they got very, 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 very mad. I would always have these kinds of thoughts that were against the typical Christian systems. And there was this one time I had this thought in my head of, what if whatever you believe in is going to be your reality? So if one person is following the faith of Hinduism, that's going to be their reality. If someone's following a faith of Christianity, that's going to be their reality. If someone wants to be a Buddhist, that's their reality. You know, when I was very young, I had this thought in my head and I told myself, I'm not ever going to voice this because I don't want to get in trouble. So when I moved over to my mom's side of the family, I experienced a lot of things outside of Christianity. It was more like my introduction to witchcraft and I guess like things under that umbrella. And I really appreciated the belief system that was followed in that, because it felt more in tune with elemental matters rather than there's this, do this, follow this, you know, which is like a lot of what I had when I was very, very young. So living a portion of my life with my mom's side of the family being introduced to these kinds of belief systems, I thought was really interesting, and it's something that it gave me permission to expand beyond the limitations that I felt I was having with Christianity. So as I got older, I started experimenting and exploring different belief systems. I did follow Buddhist teachings for a little bit, and that's where I learned about reincarnation. That is something that stuck with me. That is something that still sticks with me mostly. I am expanding a little bit beyond my beliefs on reincarnation. The point of reincarnation is you don't want it to happen. You want to have all the lives experienced, and you want your karmic ties to be done with so that you don't have to reincarnate, right? Doesn't really resonate with my current belief system, but I do still kind of like almost follow alongside that. My dream is a great example of what I believe mostly now, which is that we're here to experience this life and take what it gives us and then leave it all behind. In my dream, I had died and I was still here. My spiritual presence was still here. I couldn't let go of this world. I didn't even realize I died. It happened so quickly. It was all so abrupt. I didn't know that it happened. So I just went on with my normal routine, which does tie a lot into what I feel like actually happens with beings that die suddenly. I believe that they will not realize that they're dead, and they will just keep doing what they do because it's their routine, it's what they know to do. The interesting thing I thought that was within my dream versus like having the experience of maybe being a ghost is I had to make space on my camera because my camera ran out of space. You know, when stuff like this happens, I always get so like, why? Why is this happening? I have rewatched the footage so I can try and remember what I was talking about. So the thing that I thought was really interesting in my dream from whenever I died, after I was killed, I was still experiencing the pain from being shot. So I had this like raging headache and my mouth was hurting because I was shot. Like my whole everything here was just in so much pain. That makes me wonder if energetic beings have also had like those kinds of experiences, are also experiencing the pain from their death, like the physical pains from their death. So someone fell down the stairs and the entire time they're still going about their routine because they died so suddenly, so they're still like existing. If maybe their legs are in a lot of pain the whole time and they're just like doing their routine, but they're like, why the hell are my legs hurting so much? Or when I fractured my ribs, if that fall killed me, like I wonder if I would be going through my daily routines with a lot of pain in my ribs. That is something curious. That is something that like came into my brain that I thought would be very interesting if that is something that they're experiencing. And if so, it would explain why some of these beings don't have the best interest at heart. Also, like if this is the case, I wonder if these beings, I wonder if they are confused as to why like people in this physical plane are communicating with them. So let's say you go to a haunted house, right? And this being is experiencing its own reality, so it's just doing its own thing. But then you have someone that lives in our physical plane that goes to this haunted house and they're just screaming, like they're just yelling into the air, can you hear me? Is there someone here? Julie, is that you? Julie, are you turning the lights on and off? And it's like they are actually doing this stuff, but they are very confused because they are like, there's a ghost in my house. I'm hearing noises. I'm scared, so I'm gonna like fidget with things and like do things. Just a thought, just something to think about. That's a possibility. I do fully believe that there are beings that know that they're dead and they intentionally want to like mess with people in different dimensions. It almost brings me back to that dream that I had. Well, that wasn't a dream, but it was my astral projection story, which I can leave a link if anyone's curious about that experience down below. But I saw a headless girl on my patio and I grabbed her and released her. But it makes me wonder because she had no idea I was there until I like physically grabbed her. She had no idea that, I don't think she knew that she was dead. I don't know. I don't know anything. I felt neutral energy from her, and the moment that I put my hands on her, she was extremely fearful and frantic, obviously, because maybe in her experience, she still has her head, and I'm seeing her for what she is currently, although it's in like this in-between state of like, you know, the astral projection realm. But in her reality, she has her head and she's just like standing there because to her, she's on a hill or like in her house and she's just like chilling, just like standing there. And then feeling something like physically grabbed her, was like, what the fuck? There's something touching me. I need to like, I can't move. Oh my God. And then it's like, once I said that, I don't know if maybe when I said like, I release you, she was like, what is that? And like froze because fear. I don't know. I didn't feel any fear from her. Everything felt kind of, sorry, I'm petting my cat. Everything felt kind of neutral, but except for that like moment, like she was like frantic when I grabbed her. But like after I said I release you, like the third time, she started calming down. But it was interesting because in that experience, after I had like gotten up physically and I like ripped the plane, like tore between the two planes and like came back to this physical reality, I could feel her staring at me through the window. I knew she was still standing on the balcony. Very strange. Things to think about. We don't really know what these beings are experiencing. But then you have the beings that are willing to communicate with you because they know they're dead. It also makes me wonder if they're just the ones that like to mess with other people, if they're just really grumpy because they are like in pain. And they're like, I'm angry and I'm in pain, so I'm going to inflict pain on anyone that tries to talk to me. Which is a very real thing. That is a very real thing that can be happening. In my dream, I did decide to release, which is something that I do believe happens, where if you acknowledge that, oh shit, something happened, I died. Let me let it go. It's time for me to let go of this reality, and then you let it go, and then you release into this in-between state where you can like freely roam and like do whatever you need to do. In my belief system, this is something that happens. When you release this reality and you enter the in-between state, you are given the opportunity to be there and really take it and absorb everything that you got from your experience, and then utilize that in your next life if you so choose to have that next life experience. Growing up with these different like households and like these different belief systems around me really opened my eyes to the different possibilities of all the possibilities that we could be experiencing here in this world and what other beings could be experiencing in their world. And you know, based on my own experience, I know some of these beings are just angry. They're just angry. So yeah, that's a quick, I guess feels like it's a really like straight shot ending, like, okay, I'm done talking now. I really don't have much else to say. I feel like if I say anything else, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I wanted to hop on and just talk about a dream that I had that really inspired me to get my like gears turning and think about the different possibilities that other people or not people may have been experiencing whenever they died, or as they're like settling in this in-between world, or in our world but like crossing between our planes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would love to hear all of y'all's thoughts, opinions, experiences, or even any weird dreams that y'all might have had. Please leave them in the description. Please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear what y'all have to say. I love reading comments. It's really cool hearing other people's experiences and sharing this like-minded, like open-minded community thing that's like happening. I don't know. It's really cool. So please, I would love to hear y'all's opinions on my story, and please share any stories if you have any. So yeah, okay, that's it. My name is Nisa, again, and if any of you are curious, I have social media links down below, affiliate links down below, 10% off harem pants. Right, you know what I'm saying? I've got affiliate links. I'm also a local artist here based in Austin, Texas. So if anybody is curious about my art or my social life or like daily life or whatever the hell else I'm doing outside of YouTube, I do a lot of things. It'll all be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll have a beautiful day and many blessings. I will see y'all in the future.